Ladies and gentlemen, there is a certain power in silence that many of us underestimate. In our lives, we often encounter situations or people that disturb our inner balance, provoke unnecessary reactions, and drain our energy. Yet, instead of reacting, what if we chose silence? What if we chose to cut off that disturbance? Not with anger, but with clarity and decisiveness. Reaction is like a fire. When you react, you burn a little of yourself each time. But cutting off silently is like walking away from the fire. You choose not to be consumed. This is not about arrogance, nor is it about ignoring others. It is about protecting your inner peace, your growth, and your energy. Let us explore this approach with 9 key points to guide you. Silence has often been misinterpreted as weakness in our society. People tend to believe that if you are not reacting, you are either unable or unwilling to defend yourself. But the truth is quite the opposite. Silence, when chosen deliberately, is a profound demonstration of inner strength. It is not a retreat, but an elevation of one's own consciousness. By choosing not to react, you are asserting control over your emotions and actions. This control is not born out of fear, but from a deep understanding that not everything requires your energy or response. When you remain silent in situations where others expect a reaction, it sends a clear message, not to them, but to yourself. It says, I am not controlled by external provocations. This realization is liberating. Most people are reactive because they seek validation or dominance in a situation. However, when you choose silence, you transcend that need. You are no longer a participant in the petty games of ego and drama. You rise above, not because you are superior, but because you are focused on preserving your inner peace. Silence is not just about withholding words. It is about cultivating stillness within. In moments of silence, you are not suppressing your thoughts, but observing them. This observation creates a gap between stimulus and response, and within that gap lies your power. It is where you decide whether a reaction is necessary or if the situation is better left untouched. This is not an act of avoidance, it is an act of wisdom. Reacting is easy. Holding back and choosing silence requires mastery over oneself. Many people believe that silence is passive, but it is far from it. Silence is active and intentional. It requires awareness to choose silence over impulsive reactions. It requires strength to resist the urge to explain, defend, or retaliate. When you are silent, you are not running away, you are standing firm in your truth without needing external acknowledgement. It is a statement that says, I am enough and I do not need to justify myself to anyone. Furthermore, silence is not about ignoring others or being indifferent, it is about discernment. It is about knowing when your voice will make a difference and when it will only fuel unnecessary conflict. There are moments when your words will fall on deaf ears, and in such moments, silence becomes the most powerful language. It communicates that you are not interested in engaging in futile battles. It shows that you value your energy and time too much to waste them on fruitless efforts. Silence also acts as a mirror. When you refuse to react, it forces the other person to confront their own behavior. In the absence of your response, they are left to deal with their actions and emotions. This is often more impactful than any words you could have spoken. Your silence becomes a teacher, guiding them to introspection. While this may not always lead to immediate change, it plants a seed of awareness in their mind. In relationships, silence can serve as a boundary. When someone consistently disrespects or disturbs your peace, choosing silence is a way of saying, I will not engage with this energy. It is a form of self-care that protects you from being dragged into unnecessary turmoil. This boundary is not about punishing the other person, it is about honoring yourself. It is about recognizing that your mental and emotional well-being is worth more than winning an argument or proving a point. Silence also fosters growth. When you stop reacting, you start reflecting. You begin to see situations and people for what they truly are, rather than through the lens of your immediate emotions. This clarity allows you to make better decisions about who and what deserves your attention. It helps you prioritize your energy towards things that align with your purpose and values. By choosing silence, you are not just avoiding negativity, you are creating space for positivity and growth. Lastly, silence is a universal language of wisdom. It has been the cornerstone of teachings from great leaders, sages, and philosophers throughout history. They understood that true power lies not in the noise of the external world, but in the quiet strength of the inner world. When you embrace silence, you are walking in the footsteps of these great minds. You are choosing to operate from a place of wisdom rather than impulse, from a place of peace rather than chaos. Silence is not weakness, it is power. It is the power to remain unshaken in the face of provocation, to choose peace over conflict, and to protect your energy from being scattered. When you understand this, you will no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. You will simply be, in your quiet strength, a force that cannot be disturbed. Reactions are like fire, they add fuel to situations that could otherwise burn out on their own. Often, when someone provokes us or stirs up conflict, our immediate impulse is to react. This reaction could come in the form of anger, defensiveness, or even justification. Yet, what we fail to recognize is that our reaction becomes the very reason the drama continues to exist. Instead of extinguishing the flame, our response acts as the oxygen that keeps it alive. Imagine a conflict as a spark. Without your reaction, the spark might flicker briefly and then fade away. But the moment you react, whether through words, actions, or even visible emotions, you provide the fuel for that spark to grow into a roaring fire. This fire doesn't just consume the situation, it also consumes your peace, energy, and time. By reacting, you essentially hand over control of your emotions and inner state to someone else. Drama thrives on participation. If one person throws negativity at you and you catch it, the cycle begins. Your reaction is the confirmation they seek. It tells them that they have succeeded in unsettling you. This encourages them to continue, knowing that you will engage. However, when you refuse to react, you break the cycle, you remove yourself from the narrative they are trying to create, leaving them with no fuel to sustain the drama. It's important to understand that most drama is not rooted in logic or reason. It is fueled by ego and emotions. When someone provokes you, they are often seeking validation for their own insecurities or frustrations. By reacting, you validate their behavior and give them the satisfaction of your attention. On the other hand, when you choose not to react, you deny them the satisfaction they seek. This act of non-reaction is not passive. It is an active decision to protect your peace. Choosing not to react is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending the situation doesn't affect you. It is about responding from a place of awareness rather than impulse. When you react impulsively, you are controlled by the external situation. But when you pause and choose silence, you reclaim control over your inner state. This pause creates a space where you can decide how or if you want to engage. Consider this. Every reaction you give takes a part of your energy. Over time, these small acts of engagement add up, leaving you drained and depleted. Drama by its very nature demands attention. It feeds on your energy. By choosing not to react, you starve it. Without your energy, the drama will inevitably lose its power and fade away. This doesn't mean the situation will resolve immediately, but your refusal to react will prevent it from escalating further. Many people feel that reacting is a way to assert themselves, to show that they won't tolerate disrespect or negativity. While this might seem true in the moment, it often has the opposite effect. Reacting gives the other person control over your emotions and actions. It shows them that they have the power to unsettle you. True strength lies in your ability to remain composed and unshaken, no matter what is thrown your way. When you refuse to react, you also give yourself the gift of clarity. Reactions are often clouded by emotions, making it difficult to see the situation for what it truly is. In the heat of the moment, words are said and actions are taken that might be regretted later. By choosing silence, you create a space to reflect and respond thoughtfully if a response is even necessary. This clarity allows you to act in a way that aligns with your values and long-term goals, rather than being driven by temporary emotions. Finally, non-reaction is a form of self-respect. It is a way of saying, I will not allow anyone or anything to disturb my inner peace. When you react, you give away your power to the situation or person provoking you. But when you choose not to react, you retain your power and dignity. You show that you value your energy and time too much to waste them on trivial matters. This self-respect becomes a shield protecting you from the chaos of the external world. In the end, reacting might feel satisfying in the moment, but it often leaves behind a trail of regret, escalation, and exhaustion. Non-reaction, on the other hand, preserves your peace, energy, and dignity. It allows you to rise above the drama rather than being pulled into its chaos. When you stop reacting, you become the master of your emotions, and in doing so, you free yourself from the endless cycle of unnecessary conflict. In today's fast-paced world, the noise around us often drowns out the voice within. Most people live their lives reacting to external circumstances, constantly shifting their focus outward. But the truth is, no amount of external validation, confrontation, or interaction can bring the peace that comes from nurturing your inner well-being. To focus on your inner self is to create a sanctuary within you, a place where no external chaos can reach. It is not a selfish act. It is a necessity for a balanced and fulfilling life. Your inner well-being is like a garden. Just as a garden requires care, attention, and protection from weeds, your mind and soul require conscious effort to remain healthy. When you focus on the external, you often allow negativity to infiltrate your inner space. This negativity acts like weeds, choking your ability to grow and thrive. Focusing on your inner well-being means prioritizing what truly matters, your peace, your growth, and your clarity. We often feel compelled to engage with the world's noise, believing that every opinion, argument, or provocation deserves your response. This constant engagement scatters your energy, leaving you depleted. Focusing on your inner well-being means recognizing that your energy is limited and valuable. It means deciding where you want to invest it. By cutting off unnecessary distractions and negativity, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. When you focus on your inner well-being, you begin to see the world differently. Situations that once upset or provoked you no longer have the same power. This is not because the external world has changed, but because your internal state has become more stable. A calm and centered mind is like a still pond. It reflects the world clearly without being disturbed by every ripple. This clarity allows you to navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom and composure. Many people equate focusing on their inner well-being with isolation or selfishness. But this couldn't be further from the truth. When you nurture your inner peace, you become a better version of yourself, not just for you, but for those around you. A mind that is calm and centered can offer more love, understanding, and compassion. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And focusing on your inner well-being ensures that your cup is full. Protecting your inner well-being often requires making difficult choices, such as cutting off toxic relationships or avoiding certain situations. These choices are not acts of cruelty or avoidance, they are acts of self-preservation. If someone or something consistently disrupts your peace, it is not only your right but your responsibility to distance yourself. This is not about judging others. It is about recognizing what aligns with your growth and what does not. A crucial aspect of focusing on your inner well-being is setting boundaries. Boundaries are not walls that shut people out. They are guidelines that show others how to treat you. When you establish boundaries, you are communicating your values and priorities. You are saying, "This is what I need to maintain my peace." Without boundaries, your inner well-being is constantly at risk of being overrun by external demands and expectations. Focusing on your inner well-being also means cultivating practices that nourish your mind, body, and soul. This could include meditation, journaling, exercise, or simply spending time in nature. These practices are not luxuries, they are essential tools for maintaining your inner balance. They help you reconnect with yourself, quiet the noise of the outside world, and replenish your energy. Finally, focusing on your inner well-being is a journey, not a destination. It is a daily practice of choosing yourself over the chaos of the world. Some days will be easier than others, but what matters is your commitment to this path. By prioritizing your inner well-being, you are not only improving your own life, but also creating a ripple effect of peace and positivity for those around you. When you learn to focus on your inner well-being, you unlock a strength that no external force can take away. It is this inner strength that allows you to remain calm in the face of provocation, to walk away from negativity without guilt, and to live a life that is authentically yours. There is a common misconception that cutting someone off is an act of cruelty or malice. Many people equate silence and distance with hatred or coldness, but this could not be further from the truth. Cutting someone off silently is not about punishing them. It is about protecting yourself. It is a decision born out of self-respect and the recognition that some connections are no longer serving your well-being. This act, though often misunderstood, is one of the most compassionate things you can do for yourself. Life is filled with relationships and interactions, some of which nourish us, while others drain us. There are people who bring out the best in us, and then there are those who repeatedly disturb our peace. Cutting someone off does not mean you wish them harm or hold grudges. It simply means you acknowledge that their energy and actions are not aligned with your growth. It is not a declaration of enmity, but an act of prioritizing your own mental and emotional health. In many cases, we hold on to toxic relationships because we fear being perceived as unkind or heartless. However, staying in situations that harm you out of fear of judgment only prolongs your suffering. True kindness starts with yourself. When you choose to cut someone off, you are affirming that your well-being matters. This decision is not about rejecting the other person, but about embracing yourself. It is a way of saying, "I will not sacrifice my peace for anyone." Cutting someone off silently is an act of clarity, not cruelty. It stems from the understanding that explanations and confrontations are often unnecessary. If someone consistently disrespects your boundaries or disrupts your peace, they likely already know their behavior is harmful. Engaging in lengthy explanations or arguments rarely leads to meaningful change. Silence, on the other hand, speaks volumes. It communicates that you value your energy too much to waste it on fruitless conversations. This act of cutting off is not about anger or revenge. It is not about proving a point or teaching someone a lesson. It is about choosing freedom over entanglement. When you silently walk away from a toxic situation, you free yourself from the endless cycle of negativity and conflict. You are not punishing the other person, you are liberating yourself. This liberation allows you to focus on your growth, your goals, and the people who truly matter in your life. One of the hardest aspects of cutting someone off is the guilt that often accompanies it. Society teaches us to prioritize others' feelings over our own, which can make it difficult to walk away without feeling selfish. But self-care is not selfish, it is essential. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot be your best self for others if you are constantly drained by unhealthy relationships. Cutting someone off is not an act of abandonment, it is an act of self-preservation. It is also important to remember that cutting someone off does not erase the positive memories you shared with them. People can be both good and harmful, and relationships can hold value even if they no longer serve you. Walking away does not negate the good times. It simply acknowledges that the present situation is no longer sustainable. You can hold gratitude for what was while still making the choice to move forward without them. Cutting someone off silently is not about closing your heart to the world. It is about opening your heart to yourself. It is about recognizing that you deserve peace, respect, and happiness. By setting this boundary, you create space in your life for healthier, more fulfilling connections. This act of letting go is not a rejection of love, it is a deeper embrace of it, starting with the love you show yourself. Ultimately, cutting someone off is not cruelty, it is courage. It takes strength to acknowledge when a relationship is no longer healthy. It takes strength to prioritize your well-being over societal expectations or fear of judgment. And it takes strength to walk away without anger, without malice, and without looking back. This courage is not a sign of weakness but of immense inner power, a power that allows you to protect your peace, honor your boundaries, and live a life true to yourself. Silence, when used deliberately, has an incredible power. It is often misunderstood as an absence of communication, but in reality, silence can communicate far more than words ever could. When you choose silence over reaction, you create a space for reflection, both for yourself and others. It is not an act of avoidance, but an intentional choice to let your actions and energy do the talking. Silence speaks in ways that words cannot, carrying the weight of your resolve and clarity. When you refuse to react and instead choose silence, it forces others to confront their actions. Many people thrive on drama and conflict, expecting their provocations to elicit a response. When you don't give them what they seek, you disrupt their expectations. This silence becomes a mirror, compelling them to examine their behavior in the absence of your reaction. Without your words to counter theirs, they are left to deal with their own energy and intentions. Silence, in its essence, is an assertion of your boundaries. It says, I will not be pulled into negativity or conflict. Often people feel the need to explain themselves or defend their actions, but silence eliminates this need. When you are silent, you are not seeking validation or approval. You are standing firm in your truth, showing that your peace matters more than proving a point. This kind of silence is not weakness, it is a strength rooted in self-awareness. It's important to recognize that silence doesn't mean indifference or passivity. It is a deliberate choice to prioritize peace over chaos. Reacting to negativity often drags you into unnecessary arguments and emotional turmoil. Silence, on the other hand, keeps you grounded. It allows you to remain centered while the world around you tries to pull you in different directions. By refusing to engage in negativity, you protect your energy and maintain control over your emotions. Choosing silence also allows you to observe rather than react. In moments of conflict, reacting impulsively can lead to regret or escalation. Silence creates a pause, a space where you can reflect on the situation and your feelings. This pause gives you clarity, helping you see the situation for what it truly is, rather than through the lens of temporary emotions. With this clarity, you can decide whether the situation even requires a response or if silence is the most powerful answer. In relationships, silence can be a powerful boundary-setting tool. It communicates that you will not tolerate disrespect or negativity. When someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries or disturbs your peace, choosing silence can send a stronger message than any words. It shows that you value yourself enough to step away from harmful situations. Silence in this context is not about shutting people out, it's about honoring your own well-being. Silence also carries a profound dignity. It shows that you are not easily rattled or swayed by external forces. When you refuse to engage in petty arguments or drama, you maintain your composure and integrity. This quiet strength speaks volumes about your character. It tells the world that you are not a participant in its chaos, but a calm observer who values peace over conflict. This kind of dignity cannot be shaken by the noise around you. Moreover, silence is a tool for transformation. It not only affects how others perceive you, but also shapes your own inner world. When you choose silence, you are making a statement to yourself. I will not be controlled by external events or people. This choice strengthens your inner resolve, teaching you to rely on your own peace and clarity rather than external validation. Over time, this practice transforms you into a person who is calm, composed, and unshakable. Lastly, silence is not just a reaction. It is a practice. It requires discipline and awareness to remain silent when provoked or challenged. This discipline comes from understanding that your peace is more valuable than momentary satisfaction. When you embrace silence as a way of life, you stop reacting to every provocation. Instead, you rise above the noise, carrying with you the quiet power that comes from deep self-awareness and inner peace. Through silence, you communicate without words, setting boundaries, maintaining dignity, and transforming your inner world. This practice is not an escape from reality, but a conscious choice to engage with it in a way that aligns with your values and well-being. Silence, when used wisely, becomes your most powerful tool for navigating life's challenges with grace and strength. In our world, walking away is often misinterpreted as a sign of weakness. People may assume that leaving a situation or relationship reflects fear, defeat, or lack of resilience. However, the reality is quite the opposite. Walking away requires immense strength. It is a decision born of clarity, self-respect, and the courage to choose peace over unnecessary conflict. It is not an act of surrender, but an assertion of your boundaries and priorities. When you walk away, you are not running from a problem. Instead, you are making a conscious decision to step out of a cycle that no longer serves you. Many situations, especially those rooted in toxicity or negativity, are not meant to be solved or fixed. Trying to engage or resolve them often leads to more frustration and emotional exhaustion. Walking away shows that you recognize the futility of staying and that you value your peace more than engaging in battles that cannot be won. Walking away is not about giving up, it is about rising above. It takes strength to acknowledge when a situation or relationship is no longer healthy. Many people stay in harmful circumstances because they fear change or the judgment of others. They worry about being perceived as cold or selfish. But choosing to walk away is an act of self-awareness. It shows that you have the courage to prioritize your well-being over external opinions or societal expectation. The act of walking away is a powerful boundary. It communicates that you will not allow anyone or anything to disrupt your inner peace. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about protecting yourself. When you walk away, you are not punishing the other person or situation. You are simply removing yourself from a space that threatens your mental and emotional health. This boundary is a declaration of your self-worth, a statement that you deserve to live in peace. Walking away is also a form of liberation. Many people remain stuck in toxic relationships or situations because they feel obligated to stay, whether out of guilt, loyalty, or fear. But staying often means sacrificing your freedom and happiness. When you walk away, you free yourself from these chains. You reclaim your time, energy, and emotional resources. This liberation is not just physical, it is deeply emotional and spiritual. It allows you to move forward without the weight of negativity holding you back. It's important to understand that walking away does not erase the pain or challenges you may have experienced. However, it does create space for healing. Staying in a toxic environment often prevents you from addressing your wounds because you are constantly in survival mode. Walking away gives you the distance and perspective needed to process your emotions, learn from the experience, and begin to heal. It is not an end, but a new beginning, a step toward growth and renewal. Walking away also demonstrates trust in yourself and your journey. It shows that you believe in your ability to find better opportunities, healthier relationships, and more fulfilling experiences. Many people stay in harmful situations because they fear the unknown. They worry that leaving will lead to loneliness or failure. But walking away is an act of faith. It shows that you trust yourself enough to take a leap even when the outcome is uncertain. Another aspect of walking away is the strength it takes to resist the urge to look back. It can be tempting to revisit old situations, rehash old arguments, or reconnect with people who have hurt you. But looking back often drags you into the same cycle you worked so hard to escape. Walking away is about moving forward with intention. It is about focusing on the path ahead rather than the past you have left behind. This forward movement is an act of courage and resilience. Finally, walking away is not an act of rejection, but one of self-preservation. It is not about abandoning others or turning your back on the world. It is about choosing yourself when circumstances demand it. This choice is not easy, but it is necessary. Walking away allows you to protect your energy, honor your boundaries, and live a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. It is a powerful reminder that your strength lies not in enduring every storm, but in knowing when to step away and seek the calm. By walking away, you demonstrate a strength that is deeply rooted in self-awareness and self-respect. It is not a sign of defeat, but of immense inner power. This act of courage allows you to break free from negativity, heal from past wounds, and move forward with clarity and purpose. Walking away is not weakness. It is a profound declaration of your worth and your commitment to living a life of peace and authenticity. Your energy is one of your most valuable resources. It fuels your ability to think clearly, act decisively, and pursue your goals. Yet in the hustle of life, we often allow others to drain our energy through unnecessary conflicts, toxic relationships, or constant demands. Protecting your energy is not a selfish act. It is essential for your well-being and growth. When you prioritize your energy, you are safeguarding your ability to live a purposeful and fulfilling life. Energy is finite. Just as your body cannot function without rest and nourishment, your mind and soul cannot thrive without careful management of your energy. When you give too much of yourself to people or situations that do not reciprocate or align with your values, you deplete your reserves. This leaves you feeling drained, unmotivated, and disconnected from your own needs. Protecting your energy means learning to say no even when it feels uncomfortable, because you recognize the cost of saying yes. Protecting your energy begins with awareness. It requires you to observe the people, activities, and environments that leave you feeling uplifted versus those that leave you feeling depleted. Often, we move through life on autopilot, engaging with everything and everyone without questioning the impact on our energy. But by paying attention to how you feel in different situations, you can identify what nourishes you and what drains you. This awareness is the first step in reclaiming your energy. Once you are aware of what impacts your energy, the next step is to set boundaries. Boundaries are not about shutting people out or being unkind. They are about creating a safe space for your well-being. Whether it's limiting your time with toxic individuals, declining invitations that don't resonate with you, or setting limits on work demands, boundaries protect your energy from being scattered. They help you focus on what truly matters, allowing you to channel your energy into meaningful pursuits. Another crucial aspect of protecting your energy is understanding the difference between helping and enabling. Many of us feel obligated to solve others' problems or meet their demands, even at the expense of our own well-being. While kindness and compassion are important, they should not come at the cost of your peace. Protecting your energy means recognizing when your efforts to help are actually enabling others to take advantage of you. It means knowing when to step back and let others take responsibility for their own lives. It's also important to be mindful of the emotional energy you invest in conflicts and negativity. Arguments, grudges, and overthinking often consume more energy than we realize. When you find yourself caught in a cycle of anger or frustration, ask yourself if the situation truly deserves your attention. Most of the time, walking away or choosing silence is a more powerful and energy-efficient response. By refusing to engage in negativity, you preserve your energy for what truly matters. Protecting your energy also involves nurturing your inner world. Practices like meditation, journaling, and spending time in nature help you recharge and reconnect with yourself. These activities create a sense of calm and clarity, allowing you to face life's challenges with greater resilience. When you invest time in self-care, you are not being indulgent, you are strengthening your foundation. A well-nourished inner self is better equipped to handle the demands of the outer world. Your energy is also influenced by the people you surround yourself with. Surrounding yourself with positive, supportive individuals who uplift and inspire you is a key part of protecting your energy. Conversely, spending time with people who are consistently negative, critical, or draining can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional health. It's not always easy to distance yourself from such individuals, but doing so is often necessary for your well-being. Ultimately, protecting your energy It's about living intentionally. It's about recognizing that your energy is limited and choosing to invest it wisely. By protecting your energy, you create space for growth, joy, and fulfillment. You become more present in your life and better equipped to handle challenges. Protecting your energy is not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about engaging with it in a way that honors your well-being and allows you to thrive. When you protect your energy, you are taking ownership of your life. You are deciding what deserves your attention and what does not. This act of self-preservation is not a rejection of others, but an affirmation of yourself. It is a declaration that your peace, happiness, and growth are worth prioritizing. Protecting your energy is not just a practice, it is a way of life, one that empowers you to live authentically and purposefully. Detachment is often misunderstood. People hear the word and imagine indifference, coldness, or a lack of connection. But true detachment is none of these things. Detachment is not about turning your back on the world. It is about engaging with it without losing yourself in the process. It is the ability to remain rooted in your own peace and clarity, regardless of external circumstances. Detachment is not a withdrawal from life, it is freedom within it. When you practice detachment, you free yourself from the emotional entanglements that often come with relationships and situations. It is easy to become overly attached to outcomes, people, or material possessions, believing they define your happiness or worth. But such attachments often lead to suffering because they place your sense of peace in the hands of something external. Detachment allows you to step back and recognize that your inner state is not dependent on external factors. Detachment is not about apathy, it is about perspective. It is the understanding that life is constantly changing, and clinging too tightly to anything only creates resistance. When you are detached, you can appreciate people, experiences, and achievements for what they are without trying to control or possess them. This perspective allows you to navigate life with greater ease, as you are no longer burdened by the need to hold on to things that are meant to flow. One of the most profound aspects of detachment is the freedom it gives you in relationships. Many people equate love with attachment, believing that caring deeply means holding tightly, but attachment often leads to expectations and conditions which can strain relationships. Detachment, on the other hand, allows you to love without trying to control. It creates space for authentic connection, where you can appreciate others for who they are rather than who you want them to be. Detachment also empowers you to respond to challenges with calm and clarity. When you are overly attached to a specific outcome, you may react emotionally when things do not go as planned. Detachment allows you to accept situations for what they are and respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This calmness is not a lack of care, it is a sign of strength. It shows that you trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way without being overwhelmed by it. Another powerful aspect of detachment is its ability to release you from past pain. Many people carry emotional baggage from past experiences, replaying old wounds and regrets in their minds. Detachment helps you let go of this weight. It allows you to acknowledge your past without being defined by it. By detaching from the stories you tell yourself about your past, you create space for healing and growth. This process is not about forgetting, but about freeing yourself from unnecessary suffering. Detachment is also essential for maintaining your inner peace in the face of external chaos. The world is full of noise, conflict, and distractions that can easily pull you off center. When you are attached to external validation or the approval of others, you become vulnerable to these forces. Detachment allows you to remain grounded in your own sense of self, unaffected by the highs and lows of the outside world. It is a shield that protects your peace and clarity. Practicing detachment does not mean you stop caring or striving. It means you approach life with an open hand rather than a clenched fist. You still pursue your goals, build relationships, and cherish experiences, but you do so without becoming overly attached to specific outcomes. This mindset not only reduces stress, but also enhances your ability to adapt and grow. Detachment gives you the flexibility to flow with life's changes rather than resisting them. Ultimately, detachment is about freedom. It is the freedom to love without fear of loss, to strive without fear of failure, and to live without being weighed down by expectations. It is the ability to engage fully with life while remaining anchored in your own inner peace. Detachment is not about distancing yourself from the world. It is about finding your center within it. This freedom allows you to live authentically, joyfully, and without unnecessary suffering. By embracing detachment, you liberate yourself from the chains of attachment and discover a deeper, more lasting sense of fulfillment. You realize that true freedom comes not from controlling the world around you, but from mastering your relationship with it. Detachment is not a rejection of life, but an invitation to experience it more fully and deeply, unburdened by the weight of clinging. It is a path to inner freedom that empowers you to live with grace and authenticity. Silence, often underestimated, is one of the most profound and powerful responses available to us. It transcends words, surpasses arguments, and dismantles negativity without confrontation. Silence is not an escape or avoidance. It is an intentional act of choosing peace over chaos, wisdom over reaction. By embracing silence, you demonstrate strength, self-control, and a deep understanding of life's dynamics. When you choose silence in the face of conflict, you shift the dynamics of the situation. Most conflicts thrive on reactions, words fuel the fire, and counter-arguments keep the flames alive. Silence, however, extinguishes this fire. It disrupts the expected pattern, leaving no room for escalation. Instead of reacting, silence creates space for reflection, both for you and for the other person involved. It disarms negativity in a way no argument ever could. Silence is not passive, it is deeply active. It requires discipline and a conscious decision to resist the urge to respond, defend, or retaliate. This choice comes from a place of inner strength. Silence shows that you are not controlled by external provocations. It communicates that your peace is non-negotiable and that you refuse to be pulled into unnecessary conflict. This kind of silence is a shield, protecting you from being consumed by negativity. Choosing silence does not mean suppressing your feelings. It means prioritizing your inner peace over the need to prove a point. In moments of anger or frustration, silence becomes a tool for self-regulation. It allows you to step back, process your emotions, and respond thoughtfully, if at all. Silence gives you time to assess whether the situation truly requires your energy or if it is best left as it is. In this way, silence becomes a gateway to clarity and self-awareness. Silence can also be a profound teacher. In the absence of words, we begin to listen more deeply to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. It is in silence that we can hear the truth beneath the noise. When you are silent, you become more attuned to your own thoughts and feelings. You gain insights that are often drowned out by the chatter of the mind and the distractions of the world. This self-awareness is a gift that silence offers. In relationships, silence can serve as a boundary. It communicates what words cannot. When someone disrespects your boundaries or brings negativity into your life, silence becomes a powerful response. It says, without words, that you will not engage with behaviors or situations that disturb your peace. This silence is not about ignoring the person. It is about honoring yourself. It is a way of saying, I choose peace over conflict, respect over drama. Silence also has the power to heal. Words can often deepen wounds, especially when spoken in anger or haste. Silence, on the other hand, allows emotions to settle and tensions to diffuse. It creates a space where healing can begin. By choosing silence, you avoid adding fuel to the fire and instead create an opportunity for resolution and understanding. This healing silence is a balm, soothing the hurt without causing further damage. In a noisy world, silence is a form of resistance. It is a rejection of the constant demands for attention, reaction, and engagement. By choosing silence, you reclaim your power. You take control of your energy and focus, refusing to let external forces dictate your inner state. Silence is not about shutting out the world, but about creating a sanctuary within yourself. It is a declaration that your peace matters more than the chaos around you. Ultimately, silence is the ultimate answer because it transcends the limitations of words. Words can be misunderstood, misinterpreted, or used against you. Silence, however, speaks a universal language. It conveys strength, dignity, and self-respect. It allows you to rise above the noise and stand firmly in your truth. Through silence, you communicate without speaking, setting boundaries, maintaining peace, and navigating life's challenges with grace. Silence is not a void, it is a space of immense potential. It is a choice, a practice, and a way of life. By embracing silence, you align yourself with your inner strength and wisdom, navigating the complexities of life with a calm and unshakable spirit. Silence, when chosen wisely, becomes your most powerful response, a tool for transformation and a pathway to lasting peace. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this reflection, let us remember that life is not about how loudly we react, but how wisely we respond. The power of silence, the strength of walking away, the wisdom of detachment, and the courage to protect your energy are not just tools, they are pathways to inner freedom. Every choice you make, whether to speak or stay silent, to engage or let go, shapes the life you live. By choosing peace over conflict, clarity over chaos, and self-respect over compromise, you honor the essence of who you are. You take control of your journey, no longer a prisoner of external noise, but the master of your inner world. So, walk away when needed, cut ties where necessary, and embrace silence as your ally. Not every battle is worth fighting, and not every person is worth your energy. Focus on what uplifts you, nurtures you, and aligns with your true purpose. Remember, strength is not always in the loudest voice or the fiercest reaction. It often resides in the quiet dignity of choosing to rise above. Carry this wisdom forward and live with the grace of someone who knows their worth and values their peace. Thank you, and may your journey always be guided by the light of inner clarity and peace.